This show is produced by the Hartman Media Company. For more information and links to all our great podcasts, visit hartmanmedia.com.
I've known Jason for about 10 years now, and his company does amazing things for their clients. I found his knowledge on real estate unsurpassed. He's straightforward, honest about his approach, and gives you the information you need without any BS. He's the real deal. I highly endorse it.
Welcome to the Creating Wealth Show with Jason Hartman. You're about to learn a new slant on investing, some exciting techniques, and fresh new approaches to the world's most historically proven asset class that will enable you to create more wealth and freedom than you ever thought possible. Jason is a genuine self-made multimillionaire who's actually been there and done it. He's a successful investor, lender, developer, and entrepreneur who's owned properties in 11 states, had hundreds of tenants, and been involved in thousands of real estate transactions. This program will help you follow in Jason's footsteps on the road to your financial independence day. You really can do it. And now, here's your host, Jason Hartman, with the complete solution for real estate investors.
Welcome to episode 1774 on the show where we help you turn your castle into a kingdom. Yes, so I recently ran across one of the old ads that I ran when I first got into the business of helping people invest nationwide, and the ad was entitled, "Turn Your Castle into a Kingdom." And we actually trademarked this because we thought it was such a unique idea. And so the genesis of it was that we were, of course, mostly working with people in California back then. That's where I had built a pretty incredible real estate career as an agent with RE/MAX, one of their top agents for many years, and then had my own real estate company that was later sold to Coldwell Banker. And most of you probably heard the story, right? But I thought, what is the thing you say that, you want people to do? What is the hidden opportunity, the opportunity for in the real estate business? I remember when I was getting my real estate license years ago, I was 18 years old and going to real estate school. And I remember learning about the appraisal principle. And that principle is called highest and best use. Highest and best use. Very important principle for anything in life, not just appraisal, not just real estate value, but making sure that every asset we have is working as hard as possible. And one of the largely hidden assets that many people have is if they own a home, they have equity in their home. And there is this metric largely used in commercial real estate, but you can also find it, and you should get a free account at propertytracker.com because we have a free and a pro version of Property Tracker now. If you do not know, you can go to propertytracker.com and get a totally free account. Take advantage of that. You'd be crazy not to. It's the best real estate evaluation software on the market, bar none. It has a few weaknesses, but let me tell you, for evaluation, it is the best. It is the best. Okay, so go get your free account, or hey, better yet, go get a pro account, and it's just a nominal fee. It's not much money. Either way, one of the metrics that is listed there is called return on equity. And this is a metric that is used commonly in the commercial real estate world. You hear about it all the time. Return on equity, ROE, return on equity. However, this is somewhat misleading, this metric. Why? Well, it's misleading because it doesn't really have a return. Well, it sort of does, but in a way it doesn't. Here's what I mean. When you look at return on equity, you're looking at the amount of money invested in an investment. Could be a real estate deal, could be a stock, could be anything, any asset. You put the amount of money in, and then you look at how much did I get back versus how much I invested versus how much I have into the deal. But it's different with real estate because most investments require you to use a 100% down payment. In other words, you're buying all cash. Typically, when you buy stocks or cryptocurrency or precious metals or bonds or mutual funds or pretty much anything other than income property, you're doing 100% down. Now, I know there are ways around that. I understand that, but they're not commonly used because they're not a very good deal on those assets. But they're a great deal on real estate. You put in 20% of your own money, you use 80% of the bank's money. So your equity position is lower and you get the benefit of leverage. Of course, you also get inflation-induced debt destruction, and that's incredible. But just on leverage alone, it's pretty darn powerful because you've only got 1/5 of the money into the deal, right? So you get the return on the whole deal, and that's great. Return on equity is better there because your equity position is lower. So the less equity you have, the higher your return, the higher your ROE. The more equity you have, the lower your return. So that would obviously tell us that we want to have as little equity as possible because the investment will work harder for us with less equity. And contrary to what some of the less informed believe, we'll call those the low information investors. That's not you, don't worry. It's the people who aren't listening to this great show. They're the low information investors. They leave equity sitting around. And a lot of people do this with their own home. So this graphic of California and your home is your castle, right? That's how it's commonly viewed. Your home is your castle. That's an old cliche. We've all heard it. So your home is your castle, and your home might have a bunch of equity on it sitting around. And when equity is sitting in your home, I want you to notice, or equity sitting in any piece of real estate, I want you to notice that you receive on your other investments, you receive a 1099 that is filed with the IRS every year, and you have to report on your tax return. And you got that 1099 because you got a return on something. It might even be a bank account. Now, admittedly, the return is insanely low in a bank account, but you get a 1099. And it's lower than the rate of real inflation or even stated inflation, quite obviously. This is financial repression. It's a way to screw over the people who've done the right thing, the people who've saved money, delayed gratification. Those are largely older people. This is totally unfair, but it's what we have. So being pragmatic, we live in that world, as unfair as it is, and we're going to do the best we can to game the system and to win with the current environment we have. So you don't get any statement from your home equity. You don't get a 1099 saying, hey, this was your return on equity. No, you notice you didn't get that statement. It never shows up. Never shows up every January with your other 1099s. That's because the home would have appreciated or depreciated. And if it was a rental property, it would have rented for the same amount of money, the same amount of appreciation, the same amount of income, regardless of your equity position. So the lower your equity position, the better your return on investment. So when you turn your castle, your home is your castle, into a kingdom, you take that home equity or that equity in other rental properties and you strip it out and you use it to buy more common sense properties. Now, of course, debt needs to be used responsibly. It's a very, very powerful tool, incredibly powerful tool. Look, I remember 6th grade. My great teacher there in 6th grade, she spent a whole semester. Do they have semesters in 6th grade? Yeah, I think so, right? Half the year talking about Egypt. We studied ancient Egypt, and I was fascinated by it. And there was a King Tut exhibit in Los Angeles, which is where I grew up, where I went to school. Los Angeles, not such a great place anymore. Not even that great back then, but better then than it is now. And we went to see the King Tut exhibit, and I was fascinated by how they built the pyramids, and nobody really knows how they did it. And it's an absolute miracle. Incredible thing, right? One of the 7 wonders of the world, man-made wonders, right, is the pyramids. But one thing that's certain, even if aliens came to help us build the pyramids, right? Well, maybe that's true. They used leverage. Leverage is a very powerful tool. Archimedes said, the great mathematician and philosopher, Archimedes said, give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I will move the entire world. See, with enough leverage, you can move anything. You can move those 16-ton limestone rocks to build pyramids with enough leverage, right? With a long enough lever and a fulcrum on which to place it, you can move anything. And that's how our investment returns are so high with income property. So I encourage you, if you have equity sitting around, let us help you. You know, you're going to have the same amount of equity. You're just going to have it diversified, which is more prudent, into multiple properties instead of all in one place. So the way to turn your castle into an entire kingdom is to use that equity that might be sitting in your personal residence, in your rental properties. Hey, we do a free portfolio makeover for anybody. All our investment counselors can do this for you, where we will tell you how to get the highest and best use out of equity in properties, money in a 401k or an IRA, money in stock accounts, in bonds, in mutual funds, in precious metals, in cryptocurrency. How can you get the highest return? How can you get the highest and best use out of these things? Well, this was just a great ad that I used to run many, many years ago, entitled Turn Your Castle into a Kingdom. And many of you are sitting on a potential kingdom right now. Make sure you're using it, because your home will appreciate, depreciate at the same amount, the same level, regardless of the amount of equity. Your properties, if they're rental properties, will rent for the same amount of money, regardless of the equity you have in the property. So learn more about equity stripping. It's a great technique for asset protection. By the way, if you want to know more about that, check out our free web class at jasonhartman.com/protect. That's jasonhartman.com/protect. To learn about tax strategies, asset protection, all good stuff taught by our lawyer affiliate, Bob. He does a great job at that. And be sure you are using your equity, regardless of where it is. Equity in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate. Make sure you're using your equity to its highest and best use. That principle and appraisal of highest and best use, a very important principle. Okay, for the second half of our show today, well, it's not exactly half, but whatever, the second part, phase 2 of our show today. You've heard them on the show before, our clients, David and Gina, and they did another case study. They did one on the show before with us, but they did one with one of our local market specialists. And I think you'll get a lot out of this. We just love them. They've done such a great job with their portfolio and always appreciate their participation. They come to our events. They're involved in our Empowered Investor Inner Circle, and they're just doing a fantastic job. So thought you'd like to hear another perspective, not with me interviewing them, but with someone else interviewing them. So let's dive into that.
Hey everyone, I'm here with what I consider old friends now, David and Gina. We've worked together for, I believe, 5 years. We came together to work on the build to rent, and I'm excited to kind of interview you guys on a little bit about yourself and what you've been doing with us here in Florida with new construction investment property. So welcome, guys. Thanks for being here.
Great. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Good. Well, let me ask you, could you guys just, for a few minutes, tell us a little bit about yourself, just your career, family, whatever you want to talk about. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you are.
You go first. You're the real estate guru.
No, Jim's the real estate guru. I'm learning from Jim. I've been a corporate rat forever, 30 plus years. And in 2015-ish, I really started getting interested in in real estate. And I talked to a friend of mine, and he recommended going through Jason Hartman. And I started there in 2016 early. And then, soon after that, I purchased some properties in Georgia, one property there, and then Tennessee. And then we moved on to Florida with you guys. We got a turnkey from you. I think your very last one in Jacksonville, Randolph. We got that. That was our first dipping our toe in the Florida water there. So that one was a good experience. We had a problem with the fence. You fixed it right away. You were right on top of it. We've had great rents there. And so we started getting into the new construction, and the new construction has been amazing. Just the thing that we don't chase appreciation, but wow, you guys have really, in Florida, have really killed the appreciation, man. It's been amazing. And the rents have been good, but yeah, so our experience has been really fantastic with Suncoast and you guys.
I appreciate that. And why did you guys, what was that kind of nudge to start investing in real estate? You said you started talking to Com, but what was kind of going on? I'm always interested because I know I had that push 23 years ago.
That's a great question, because I've been thinking about it, and I mentioned it to Gina off and on throughout the years. I just didn't know how to start. And it was always in the back of my mind. And it was like, there's got to be something better to what I'm doing, and waiting for a pension, waiting for Social Security, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I don't want anybody else to control my financial destiny. And I knew there was a better way. Yeah. And Gina's an entrepreneur. She's branched out and started her own business since we started the real estate business, and finally pulling the trigger was sometimes you think about it for so long, and it was one of those, I procrastinated too long.
Oh yeah.
I think I was really, it was probably like the perfect timing in 2016 when we got our first rental. And then because we were mentally ready for it.
Yeah. So now, even when you first signed those docs, I remember signing my first sales contract for a property in Lompoc, California, 23 years ago.
That's right. That's where he's from.
That's where I'm from. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we have that in common, and so everyone knows. But yeah, that first contract, guys, $152,000 for a 3-family house. And I remember I was hyperventilating in the kitchen right after I signed that contract.
Yeah.
And it's that feeling, but you kind of do it anyway. You do your homework and do it anyway. And I'm going to share some numbers with everyone that I couldn't be more happy for you guys. And I really appreciate you putting the faith and trust in, because like you said, you did a turnkey. The new construction was something I saw as a future trend. We couldn't compete with the prices were just going too up on old houses. We couldn't get the volume. We couldn't get in the right areas. And so new construction is a different beast. It takes a little bit longer, but I do think there's a payout. And we're going to talk about that. With that said, as well, could you guys just be honest? Why did you choose to work with us? I always like to know why, because it's just something of interest that you have lots of groups you can work with.
I might
go
answer part of this.
Yeah.
So like Dave said, we were both corporate rats, and doing this real estate was really foreign. Neither one of our families were entrepreneurs at all. So they were just, put money in retirement, sock it away. And Dave was really conservative that way. He wasn't really a big risk taker before real estate, but going to, Hartman's, presentations and being just around, we've been doing a lot of mindset work and doing a lot of reading and looking at what wealthy people did. And we certainly, as hard as we were working and as educated as we were not on that path. And so being around people like that in the Hartman organization, it just like lifts the lid of what's possible. And then obviously, I'm a therapist, so I trust my gut a lot. And I know when we saw you speak, there was just something about you that was really humble and honest. And I think there's a lot of people that are in this industry that are kind of shady, and we knew you were not one of them. We really felt like your integrity was there. And so we took a risk and went with your organization, and it's been great. In fact, I've actually moved when I left my corporate world and went into complete private practice. I took my whole 401k and put it into a solo K, self-directed IRA, so I could purchase. And so my first house that I purchased out of that is also in Ocala.
Yes. No, and I have the numbers here, and we're going to talk about that. And I appreciate that. And again, my first business love is real estate. My second, as you guys know, is I have the Passion Family Education business, which again, another overlap. Obviously, we've sat and talked for hours about family therapy and things of that. And I do always appreciate those conversations. So it's funny how I think what I always try to do with business is attract people with the same core values. never identical, but good overlap and core values that are assimilate, because it seems like there's better conversation, better trust. So it's the same thing. And nothing is more honorable for us than for you to say, we appreciated you with our money so much, we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it with something like that. So thank you. Because there's no greater compliment for me other than results, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But before I talk about the results, what's your overall experience been with this? And please be honest. You guys know I want you to be brutally honest. How's it been? What with Florida? If you could just give an overview for people, because I just want the honest.
Yeah. Well, the purchase experience was really we'll just go soup to nuts, because it starts off with, you sign that first contract, right? And since then, I mean, we were provided updates regularly from the permitting process on through the purchase process. So we weren't left hanging, and we know nowadays new construction with COVID and everything, things have taken a different turn with delays and things. We get all that. But before COVID, we were always given updates. We were given photos, constant, biweekly, I believe. I can't remember back then, but I think they were regular enough for us to be comfortable. And then you turn it over into the property management side, and the Suncoast has been good for us. The tenant consistency has been good, and the rents have been good, because when there's a tenant turn, you reanalyze the rental market, and you'll take the new rental market, whatever that bears, and that's been good. And the rent turns have been fairly quick. Yeah. I've had properties in other areas, in other geographical areas, that have sat for months, just because they're not getting tension, and that can hurt, especially when you have a mortgage against it, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so the experience has been good. That their numbers have been accurate. We haven't had any. I can't think of any real oh my God, we didn't see that coming moments, which I've had in other markets, and it happens in real estate. Just our experience. That's why we've gone back. I think we have 9. I don't remember how many units we have with you guys. I think it's around that many. Mm-hmm. You probably know better than I have to look at my whiteboard. But no, I just
2, 4,
to be, there's been some minor maintenance even with the new construction, but it's been really solid that way. But the 210, you guys have honored the 210 warranty. We haven't had any major expenses there.
Yeah.
So,
and the 210 warranty, just so I explain to people, I've always done older foreclosures, fixed them up, rented them, or worked with clients like yourself. With the older houses, I could only give a 1-year warranty. That was the standard. With new construction, the goal with new construction was happier tenants, less maintenance and repairs, and better longevity. So with a new construction model, we can do what's called a 210 warranty. That's 2 years basically on the small stuff, 10 years on the big stuff. And that's a very, broad overview. But that was kind of the levels of protection we wanted to get. Again, you guys are across the country. Now, you were originally in Oregon and now in Idaho, correct?
California.
And that's okay. So we were both in California as well. And now you're in Idaho. So obviously, that's not an easy commute. You're not saying on a Sunday afternoon, hey, let's drive by the rental property. So I wanted less headaches. And that's why it was a big decision for new construction. And even when you guys came on with this 5 years, that was a turning point where I was saying, guys, I'm not going to do older turnkeys anymore. I'm going to do new construction. And overall, just what do you guys think about the switch from older properties to new construction?
Well, I mean, like you said, I think there's more security. Hopefully there's the clientele is maybe a little bit higher quality, maybe a little more invested. Yes. In that, because they're wanting something that hopefully they're more prideful of, and they're not going to destroy it. Now that doesn't necessarily always happen, but we've certainly had some of our older homes destroyed by people trying with evictions and those kinds of things. So we've had some of the bad side of that. But, I think you have to be a little more patient on the new construction, because the return on investment doesn't show up right away while it's being built and you're kind of hanging out waiting. But as I'm sure you'll show in the numbers, by the time ours actually closed, the rent to value and went up, and or at least the rental was, and the actual property value went up too. So
Yeah. And that's actually something I would love to share with your guys' permission. So I pulled it up. I have 4 of your properties here. I think there's a 5th, but I have 4 of the properties here. Actually, well, the 5th one would be the turnkey we did on Randolph, which I know personally has gone up at least 50,000 in value. I did not comp that one today, but I know that area. I also have properties in there. So I know that that's gone up, and probably rents $125 in rent increase since the purchase. So that one I didn't include because I really wanted to work on new construction today, which is the only focus. Cool. If people came to me for an older house today, I just don't even want. I own some, but I don't even rehab homes. I only do new construction. But this was pretty exciting, guys, because again, we've spent a lot of time together. We've gotten to know each other. And my job was saying, look, our model is to get you into new construction property in high growth areas that will experience rent growth and appreciation growth. Because I know a lot of strategies out there say, don't depend on appreciation. And what I've always said is, let's not depend on it, but let's do our best to get in its way. Because there's times I got in its way in California years ago and now Florida, and it's been really lucrative. And these were exciting. So let me just share with you guys. One of the first duplexes that you bought with us, you guys bought that for $181,900.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Today, that property is comping at $249,000 to $259,000 per our current market values. The rent, when we first sent it out to you guys for the marketed rents originally, was $845,000. So that was per side. So there's a duplex per side. Today, the actual rents are $1,000.
Okay.
So we've had an increase of $150 per side, or $155 per side. Mm-hmm. And we've had a value increase from $181,900 to, it was comp between $249,000 and $259,000. Yeah. That's on property number 1. Now, have those stayed, and again, have those stayed occupied for the last group of years?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just want to make sure. And something I do so people know, I look at the portfolio, meaning all the clients I work with once a month. I do get an update on anything that goes over 30 days. I want to know about, I want to stay involved with, whether it's something that happened 6 months from now, a property you bought, or 5 years ago, like you guys. So that's exciting to hear for everyone.
2 duplexes in Ocala.
And then the other duplex, again, you guys were smart. I think you bought 2, another one at Northeast 78th, same numbers, $181,900. Today it's between $249,000 and $259,000 in value. They started at $845,000 and today's rents are $1,000. Mm-hmm. So that's an increase of over $300 in rent per building, $150 plus per side.
Right. And
then an increase in about $70,000 to $80,000 in equity per building. That's great. Congratulations. Super excited for you guys. We also have the duplex on Raintree. Now, this is Palm Coast, a coastal market. It's a little bit more of an expensive buy-in. Like I told you guys, I got engaged there. So I'm very, I love it. It's a beautiful area. You guys know that. You got into a duplex. There was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath duplex on each side. Now, this was a higher price point. It was $309,900. Okay. The rents originally, I think, were at $1,325 was the promise. Today's market rents are $1,450 a side. The values you bought for $309,900. Today, if we were to list this property for you, Jen, who our sales director, said she would list it for $449,900.
Nice.
$449,900. I was super excited to give you guys that number.
Yeah.
Again, new construction and high growth. Yeah. So this is the first time we're sharing this. I didn't want to share it with you guys until we were actually on. But I know we try to keep you in touch, but that's an increase in rents of about $125 per side and a value increase of $140,000 in equity.
And we closed that just in December.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a really short time frame with remarkable numbers there.
Well, this is an interesting point, David, because remember, you guys got when you build a new construction property with us, you're looking at 6 to 12 months to build, and now it's more like 10 to 12 with inflationary effects, materials, permits. But as you said, the patience can pay off because there's growth during that time. We set you at the price, and then there's growth at that time that you guys had already stepped into by the time you closed. And then again, inflation is not always a good thing, but one thing, rents are indexed to inflation, and normally on properties like this, values can actually increase. And did you guys, did you lock into a fixed rate loan?
Yeah.
So you're in a fixed rate loan. So now that interest rate is fixed, but as the inflation index up, you guys are at a locked in amount on your loan, but not on the rents going up, right?
Yep.
So this was really exciting for me to share with you guys. That's the biggest equity growth. Again, the rents went up 125, 130 per side, which is still a jump, not as big as Ocala. But again, that's why I like that balancing effect of rental growth and equity growth. So now you guys know that you have that, and your portfolio is now at a lower LTV, loan to value. One of the other ones that you bought as well was with single family on Arnett. The rents started at $13.75. I'm sorry, $13.25, and now they're at $14.25. You bought the house for $178.9, and today it's worth $229.
Nice.
Okay, I had not valued that one, so
This is why I wanted to get you guys on
that one. And I didn't know how much Raintree. I knew the duplexes in Ocala, their appreciation, but I didn't know Raintree was that had gone up that much in that short a period, and Arno either. So that's amazing.
Yeah, Palm Coast has been an interesting market. Again, it's coastal. It's a little higher end. Again, it was harder to get cash flow numbers to work, but we did, and land prices have even gone up. So if we get priced out of a market, to be very honest on here, I think Palm Coast will be one of the first. But you guys don't have to worry about now, because you have a foothold in there with 6 bedrooms and 4 baths working for you. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, I had the choice on that one to go with the 2.2.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, for the price of extra cost of getting a 3.2, you're going to open up your rental market to, just those that are willing to pay more with a 3.2. So I think it was worth paying extra for the 3.2, the 3-bed.
The way that property is laid out, which I obviously have been by, it is almost like 2 houses. It's a duplex, so it's 2 units together. But being a 3.2, a young family that is a house with yards, favorable neighborhood where there's a lot of home ownership. So I think you guys obviously did well. But my thing is, high fives, hooray. You guys took the faith and trust. You looked at our system. You visited us. You put your money in. You took, retirement money. You put it here. And I wanted to be able to give you these numbers today, so that we could share this, talk to other people, other investors that we work with, but also let you guys hear the results for yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So the walnut's not in here then.
The walnut, that's another Ocala one.
Oh, the walnut one, that's the one we didn't do. You know what, Gina, I'll get you those numbers, because that's the one that was bought out of
the
IRA. So when we pull up the name David and Gina Nelson.
Oh, that didn't show up.
It didn't come up because you bought it. I believe that one in the entity, correct?
So
that one was bought in the entity. So I knew there was another one. There was that, and there was Randolph.
Authentic
so
something.
So this would be even better.
Authentic.
Yeah, I can get you numbers on Walnut, but that's also going to be very favorable. Ocala has been really our surprise market. I think I joked with you guys when my building partner said, let's go to Ocala. And this is 6-7 years ago. I said, isn't there only like 10,000 people out there? And I was totally wrong. Marion County has almost 400,000 now and growing. And obviously you guys have seen the effect and have been there live. But Walnut, very good shape as well. I mean, those single family homes, again, that's a great area of home ownership and rental. So the demand just keeps growing for that area.
Yeah.
So we'll get you those numbers as well. I would have liked to give you one more piece of good news, but
no, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. But now you guys can hear these numbers, and overall, what do you think?
I think we need to refi till we die.
I was thinking, when you mentioned the duplex in Ocala going from 182 to 245 to 255, I'm like, well, that's, 60 or 70 grand in both units. So I could pull out, like she said, refi and get another one.
Yeah.
I started that process, but then we actually went under contract on a property in Inverness.
Yeah.
With you guys. So we didn't even mention that one, but that one we just locked in, I think, last month.
Yeah.
And so I'm
Solid
not
number.
doing anything,
Yeah.
crazy until we probably get that one
And the
done.
good news is, I like the way you guys have built it. You can refi out, pull out, and dump into the next property. I've done that a lot. You can also have earnings from your other, cash flowing businesses and ventures, and put that into a property. And now, as you guys continue to build,
Mhm.
it's a pretty cool situation, because now that you have a foothold, you can make cool decisions. You could refi and dump into another. You could also, over the next few years, if the market really goes up, say, you know what, let's rank our properties. This is our favorite. This is our least favorite. We like them all, but these are our least favorite. You take the bottom three, you throw it towards the debt of the other. The others are now just cash flowing machines, still with some leverage on it, but very little exposure, and still a lot of equity. It's a nice kind of mix and match situation that, as we get footholds in certain markets, at least that's what I've done. You kind of play this mix and match, and you guys are now in that situation. And the wind is at your back. I know at the last IMN conference, that's the big build to rent here in Miami, all of the institutions and hedge funds, which proudly we've avoided working with because they're kind of a pain in the rear to us. They think that we're in the second inning for build to rent in Florida. That was their words, not mine.
Oh,
so
wow.
You guys have a nice runway looking ahead to you. And anyway, this gives you options. I'm super excited, but hopefully these numbers kind of give you a little reassurance and high five.
Yeah,
they're great.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Very cool.
Well, any final comments you guys want to say for anyone that's looking to work together or is getting into investing? Any kind of words of comment, advice, wisdom?
Yeah, I would say don't get caught up in the paralysis, of analysis. You heard that one before, and because I've been there. So people tend to try to time things, and whenever you try to time a market, it's just like going to Vegas and covering your eyes and throwing your dice out there. The advantage is it's a multidimensional asset. So the advantages are so great. If you pull the trigger now, you can start getting the tax benefits now. And then that's not even counting appreciation, which you don't chase, but just pull the trigger. I mean, that's what we finally did. And now, we're going to set ourselves up to be completely independent going forward and not depending on government, not depending on pension, like we were talking about earlier. So because we want to be completely own our destiny as much as we possibly can financially. And real estate is the great asset to do that in. But
I agree totally. Any other words on top of that, Gina? Or are you just
nope? He's my guru. I just looked at him. This is cool for me. I don't pay much attention to all the boards and the spreadsheets he's got, so it's kind of cool for me to get an update. I told him we need like a monthly business meeting just so I know what the heck we have. Because
right. Well, it's nice when you're going, I didn't even know this had gone up or that had gone up, and but when things are steady and you're not having to overthink, I think things grow as well.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I learned from people like Jason Hartman. I've been paying attention to you and your wisdom in your business, and because you guys have grown like crazy too.
Yes.
And when you follow people who have done it well, I mean, that's another thing that we pay attention to is you listen to people, not because they can talk, but because they've actually performed.
Yeah.
They've actually achieved what they're talking about. They're not just, they're not just
novel
talking
concept, right?
Yeah, you've learned lots of lessons. Like we've learned some lessons that some things we're not going to repeat in our business side. So, but you just have to take that and as a lesson and not dwell on it and just move forward.
Yes.
That's important. But it's been a great experience with you guys.
No, I agree totally. It takes a village to raise a real estate portfolio. That's for sure.
There you go.
And I love working together with you guys. We appreciate you. I'm excited to get you the numbers on Walnut, excited for your next property in Inverness. Again, that's hop, skip, and a jump from Ocala and a beautiful little town growing. And you guys have been a pleasure and an honor to work with. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on today. We look forward to working together for years. We're here for you. And, thank you for sharing your story today. That means a lot to not only me, but a lot of people out there, I'm sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. You got a great team.
Thank
you very much. Well, if you guys have anything you need, let us know. It was great seeing you again today.
Yeah, take care, man.
As an income property investor, imagine being able to tap into a nationwide network, actually a worldwide network of investors who share your same challenges and successes. Imagine being able to leverage the experience of experts and learn from their achievements and their mistakes. The Empowered Investor Inner Circle is an exclusive community of like-minded and successful investors who help each other invest smarter and avoid common setbacks and pitfalls. Join us today and take your portfolio to the next level. Level up and learn from the mistakes of others. Level up and effectively self-manage your portfolio. Level up and increase your peace of mind and your profits. Level up and gain greater control.
When you join the Empowered Investor Inner Circle, you are joining a network of accomplished, experienced, and knowledgeable investors. Investors who will help you take control of your investments while saving you time and money. Managing a portfolio of income properties in a diverse range of markets across America has never been easier. With technology, almost every aspect of income property investing can be done from the comfort of your own home. Join the Empowered Investor Inner Circle for monthly live training sessions with Jason Hartman and special guests to discuss which investment strategies will work the best with your unique life situation and portfolio. Get regular real estate updates and articles so you're in the know and up to date with what's happening in the world of income properties. You will also receive inside access to Jason and his team of investment counselors who will quickly answer any of your questions. Access our Rolodex of vetted resources, including property managers, contractors, plumbers, and electricians, so you know you're getting someone who does high-quality work. Act now and we'll include 1 free year of access to Property Tracker, a web-based program that will help you manage your income, expenses, legal documents, contracts, and all contacts associated with administering income properties nationwide. A 1-year subscription to Property Tracker costs $347 per year, but if you sign up for the Empowered Investor Inner Circle today, you will receive 1 year of Property Tracker access for free. Don't let this unique opportunity pass you by. Join the Empowered Investor Inner Circle today.
Thank you so much for listening. Please be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes. Be sure to check out the show's specific website and our general website, hartmanmedia.com, for appropriate disclaimers and terms of service. Remember that guest opinions are their own, and if you require specific legal or tax advice or advice in any other specialized area, please consult an appropriate professional. And we also very much appreciate you reviewing the show. Please go to iTunes or Stitcher Radio or whatever platform you're using and write a review for the show. We would very much appreciate that. And be sure to make it official and subscribe so you do not miss any episodes. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode.